All right, what's involved in wine labels and what has to go onto a wine label? Well, obviously, you don't have to have the brand on there, but you do have a brand on there. It's silly if you don't. You have the area. You have to have Wine Australia. Has to have the alcohol on there. You have to. You don't have to have the year, but I think it adds a lot to the selling point and the region, McLaren Vale, in this particular case. You don't have to have the varieties, but again, I think people want to know what's in there. And in fact, that's what Australia gave to the world, really, was varietal labelling. It was really not very common in Europe, just a few areas did it. And Australia really went out there and said, you know, look, Shiraz, this is what it tastes like. And it introduced a lot of people to wine because they suddenly went, oh, wow, that Shiraz tastes like that. And that Shiraz tastes like that. That's the same grape, but it actually tastes different. And they actually got really excited, and it's probably why Australia really went a long way. Anyway, getting sidetracked. Our wine labels have a red stripe on them because of our heritage, basically, in school, and my father came up with that as a distinctive thing, which is very important. If you come out with a label, come up with something really distinctive. But also they have a really quirky name, like this one's called the Hermit Crab. It's a Viognier Marsanne, and Marsanne is a major white grape of Hermitage. And Hermitage translated means house of the hermit, and a hermit crab carries his house around the whole time. And there's hermit crabs on the beaches at McLaren Vale. And so you can see them there, yeah, and there's hermit crabs, there's fossils in the limestone. So the roots are down there, sucking up little bits of fossilised hermit crab into the grapes and into the wine. So if you can taste a little bit of minerality there, it's from the limestone, it's probably a fossilised hermit crab. And so what I'm doing by doing this, calling them a stage name like this, is adding value to the wine and adding a personality to the wine that actually people, it's like a hook that people can really latch onto, and it adds enormous value to the wine. People start going, oh, I'll have the crab, the hermit crab. They don't go, I want the D'Arenberg Viognier Marsanne. And so they start earning that name. And once they actually find out what the name's about, which often is after several bottles, they start going, oh, what is this about? Then they really start to own it, and they go, oh, wow, you know, and then they start telling everyone about it. And so value adds. I've got another example here called the Laughing Magpie, Shiraz Viognier. My daughters, when they were 3 years old, couldn't say kookaburra, so they called them laughing magpies. And a magpie is black and white, and this is made from black and white grapes, Shiraz and Viognier. So it is actually a laughing magpie because black and white grapes, but also it's a very cheerful wine, very good fragrance and alive. And again, adding value to the wine, and of course laughing is a beautiful thing to have. I have this philosophy, we're deadly serious about our winemaking up until when the wine ends up in the bottle. And from then on, it all should be fun. Because really, what are you going to do with it when you drink it? You're going to have fun. So that's why I have quirky names, a quirky little picture on there. We have quirky caricatures of the label names. And I always carry some props around as well, which other than right now. But when I'm traveling, I mean overseas. I've got the Cenosillicophobic cat here, Sagrantino Cinso, bit of a mouth mumbler. Here I go. Cenosillicophobia is the fear of an empty glass, which we hope you'll never suffer from. And then one of our top wines, the Dead Arm, another great name, named after the dead arm disease in the vineyard, which happens in all vineyards around the world, where one half of the vine starts dying off and concentrates the other part of the vine. And again, it's funny how you can come up with such a negative thing like dead and actually end up turning it into a real positive. But I know that people, when we first released this wine, said, oh, I'm never going to sell a wine with name Dead Arm, that's ridiculous. And then they all had to eat their words because it became a really popular thing to do. But it's all about value adding personality and adding something to it. In the past, I was always about wine label names that were easy things to know, like Crab and Magpie and Dead Arm. And then Cenosillicophobic cat, obviously much more intellectual name. Now I have intellectualised it a little bit more, make it a little bit harder, a little bit deeper. Apparently some research said that the harder the name, the more complicated the name, actually the more the perceived value of the wine was. So anyway, look, there's a million things I could go on about, but we haven't got enough time. So look, enjoy your course. Cheers.